Welcome back, guys, or if you're new to my channel, this is Automotive Anonymous, and I'm currently driving a 2025 Subaru Outback Limited XT. Limited basically just means it's a really high trim level. XT means it's a turbocharged version of that really high trim level, and I'm currently sitting on some gravel. You can see in reverse, there's a lot of gravel. I'm going to put it into drive. We're going to see how this thing does launching out of here, and then we're going to take it onto main roads, maybe the highway, maybe a little bit around town, and basically go for an 8 to 10 minute driving video to help you guys understand if this might be the right vehicle for you, if this might be one that you are potentially considering. Outbacks do a really good job. I actually personally own an Outback Wilderness, and I have for almost 3 years. So I'm going to try to keep this as unbiased as I can, but they are really good vehicles, and let me show you what I mean. First of all, I'm going to give it a half throttle, and we're going to see what happens on the gravel with the all-wheel drive system. Yeah, no tire slip, and that's even with traction control off. This thing just hooks and goes. The all-wheel drive system is really competent, and it's a really good competitor compared to a lot of the other crossovers. Well, this is basically the only affordable wagon that you can really buy these days, since a lot of the other wagons are more luxurious vehicles from Mercedes and Audi, and there's just not a lot of competition to the Outback. But let's get this on the main road on a 60-mile-per-hour highway. You can see there's a few vehicles coming. I'm gonna see how quickly I can catch them. Probably not the Silverado, but probably the Camry that's behind it. Because with 260 horsepower, and 277 torque, this thing does a really good job. So gonna put the pedal all the way down, and it gets right up to the speed limit. In fact, let's go do a 0 to 60 and I'll show you what this thing can actually do on GPS. 0 to 60 in the Limited XT, traction is off. We are over a mile above sea level with a density altitude of 5,600, so this turbo engine is still down on power about 10%. Let's see what it can do with the brake rev. Not bad. True 0 to 60 came in at 7.15 seconds. And, you know, high 6 without rollout, that's really not bad given the elements, given the fact that this is a family-sized wagon. So just over 7 seconds is really not bad for a 3,900-pound 5-seater wagon that has really good comfort. My backpack's enjoying itself. The back seats are huge. You can fit basically anything you reasonably want to back there. And then with over 30 cubic feet behind the second row, the Outback basically just makes life really easy. It has 8.7 inches of ground clearance. It handles the highway really well. Currently, I'm cruising at about 1,500 RPM. Let's see if I go through the info display. What kind of MPG am I currently getting? So tire pressure, you can see, is 33 all around. MPG currently it thinks is 56, but that's not very accurate. Okay, that's not very good. Average of 6.4. Really not very impressive, because this, as you guys could see, had a lot of time already on, had a lot of time spent idling, but it gets right back up to speed. It handles the corners and the curves really well. Actually, maybe I'll slow down over here and I'll do a little bit of a moose test so you guys can see how the dashboard moves when you have to throw the steering wheel very quickly. If it handles it pretty flat, because I'll slow it down so you guys can see the clip a little bit better. But if I slow it down, if we're going maybe 20 miles an hour, you know, it's kind of a numb steering feel. There's a little bit of body roll, but at low speeds, the Outback does a really good job. And then this, compared to a lot of other crossovers, actually feels more stable and better planted when you are going faster, like say 80 miles an hour, if that's what your local interstate is, because of the overhangs on the front and the rear. Because this isn't a wagon, that does take away from the approach and departure angle, but it helps level out the stability, and it helps make subtle changes that aren't as extreme as what you just saw a little bit more pleasant and a little bit more controlled. That paired with a lower center of gravity from the boxer engine and the all-wheel drive system, this just is a really good vehicle. It's a really nice driving vehicle, and again, if I get off the gas and I just let it idle, I'm only at about 1,200 RPM. Now that I'm on the gas again, and you can see that, I'm still in the low teens. The CVT, although is maybe not everyone's favorite style of transmission, you can't argue that it does a really good job, and that it is really pleasant to drive. Subaru's, their in-house design CVT, it is chain driven, and overall I think it does a really good job. Let's do a U-turn here. These are supposed to do one, or a full circle I should say, in about 36 feet, and that was super easy. That compared to maybe 48 feet for a full-size truck means an Outback that has basically the same interior volume as a full-size cab on a full-size 1500 level truck just makes it so much more easy and convenient to drive while having about the same overall ground clearance as most non-higher performing level trucks. So I really can't complain. I definitely think you guys should test drive one of these for yourself. Obviously, if you like anything you see in this video so far, please consider liking this video. I really appreciate that kindness, and comment any thoughts and opinions you have so far. But otherwise, I'm gonna pull out to the main road. We're gonna do another acceleration, and then we'll start to wrap up this video. But just driving in here, there's not a lot of wind out today, so I don't get a lot of wind noise on the glass, even though this does have quite a bit of glass, and that small sedan size sunroof up top, it's not huge like the Ascent or the Forester, but it gets the job done and lets a little bit of light in, and it does actually look like it's probably tinted, unlike the front windows. The rear windows and the hatch area, that's all tinted on these, usually around 20 to 25%, but the front windows are not really tinted on any factory vehicles, so I do recommend you maybe consider that in the aftermarket if you want to keep glare and interior temps down in here. There is definitely some glare on the 11.6-inch screen, as you guys can see here, but I don't think it's that difficult to see whether during the day or at night. And even if we do a more mild acceleration, maybe like 40% throttle, you can see the CVT kind of faked some shifts. It acted as if it was a real 8-speed automatic. It's kind of weird that this has set shift points when you're doing rolling accelerations, but when you go full throttle from a dig or from a stop or a launch, whatever your terminology is, it actually holds it kind of like the CVT is intended to, and it does hold it at about the peak horsepower rating, which is around 5,600 RPM. So overall, you know, I do think that this is just a really competent power plant. It even has a Garrett name brand turbocharger, which is a pretty big surprise. And I've put 40,000 miles on my turbo Outback. I just actually did a 40,000 mile update video on it, and it has been pleasant. It's been perfect, basically, other than the wireless charger, which I pulled out, and a few rock chips, because the Subaru windshields are apparently known to crack a little bit more easy than maybe some of the other brands. I don't know if that's the angle, the thickness of the glass. You know, there's a variety of things, but you do have a lot of visibility up front, and there's very few trade-offs and very few reasons to not at least consider a Subaru if you want all-wheel drive, you want a top safety pick plus, and you want a competent vehicle that makes life easier for you and does a lot of things well. I think a Subaru should be on everyone's list. There's no surprise why basically all the Subaru wagon or hatchback models sell well over 100,000 units a year in North America. That does favor the wintry northern states for the most part, but some of you guys who live in Texas or in the South have actually commented that there are a lot of Subarus where you guys live too. So even places that don't need a lot of snow or get a lot of snow regularly, maybe you like to travel into the mountains, you like to ski, snowboard, snowshoe, whatever you do, and a Subaru might be a really good vehicle for you. You have covered storage, you have a lot of safety features. Let's get into adaptive cruise right now. It's probably not gonna, I'm kind of surprised it detects a right lane when we only have a sidewalk. So even though this is just the Gen 3 system with the dual cameras, it's actually doing a really good job. This, of course, is all CGI, and it's not going to read stop signs up ahead, so you are going to have to get involved. But the Subaru all-wheel drive safety system, the blind spot monitoring, all the things that this has, it's a really good vehicle, one that you should consider. I don't love the auto start stop feature. Let's see if we can get that to work real quick, and then we'll end this video. But if you're new to my channel, I have a whole lot of Subaru footage. I have a whole lot of Subaru stuff between our own Forester and Outback and everything else that I test drive. And I guess the system's not going to work right now. But with that said, I wish you guys the best. Hope you take care. See you again next time. Bye.